Hey guys, so I'm going to go through the week on Gold and NASDAQ, kind of take a look to see what happened. So hopefully you guys caught some of these moves. If not, totally fine. We have the next week coming up. So let me just start on Monday. So Monday, prior to Monday, price has been bearish, obviously, right? So prior to Monday, I'm looking for sells. So basically, price is bearish on Monday. It's the only thing I'm looking at. And then prior to the New York session, obviously price is bearish. I noticed this was the last lower high. So I'm looking for sells coming into New York session. However, I noticed this QMR, right? And then once this QMR happened, you have the high, the low, higher high, lower low. Price had already tapped it at 7 o'clock. And that's 7:30, because this is on the 30-minute time frame. It already went down. So for me personally, this setup is invalid because it was outside my session. So all I did was skip the session. So I go back to the 4-hour. Now I go to Tuesday, because there's nothing you can do. Unfortunately, that's just part of the process, right? So now I go to Tuesday. And what I noticed Tuesday going to New York, now it looks like price has created a proper lower high, right? So price created a proper lower high for the push to go down. That's basically what I'm seeing on the 4-hour prior to New York. So again, I'm looking for sells. So I go to the 1-hour. So let's see, this is Tuesday, yeah. So this is Tuesday, so I go to the 1-hour. So what do I notice prior to the New York session? Obviously, I noticed that this was a QMR. On the 1-hour, price had already expected it, went down. So what I then notice is that there's this SNRC2 level here, right? So this is basically prior to the New York session. This is what I'm seeing. So the QMR had got tapped. So for me personally, I would be waiting for this setup, which was the SNRC2. It's a little bit clearer to see on the 30-minute, right? And then if you go to the 15, what you then notice is that there's this little QMR level here, right? So this was the level to sell from. Now obviously price continued to go up, but it respected this level and then went up, but that's hindsight now. I didn't know any of this was going to happen. So I just follow my rules, and my rules say basically that if the trade is valid, you got to take it. So this basically ended up being the trade, right? QMR on a 15 and 30-minute was SNRC2, right? So take that and then just manage it, and then that's that, right? So that was for that day. Sometimes you get good trades, sometimes not so good. So you just gotta basically take what the market gives you. So now Wednesday and Thursday, there's absolutely nothing I could do because price had already, I knew that price put in a lower high, right, as I mentioned. So now price is in the process of making a lower low. Now you can trade with it, but for me personally, there was just nothing to do. Like, see, this was Wednesday, couldn't trade anything. I'm gonna go to Thursday because also too I didn't do anything. See, Thursday, couldn't do anything, right? So then basically you had to wait for Friday. So again, prior to the New York session, right, price put in a lower high. So now I go to the 1-hour, and this is what I notice. Price is bearish, and prior to New York session, this is what I see, right? Now, when I go to the 4-hour time frame, I'll show you kind of how I found this level to sell from. I go to the 4-hour, right? So I'm just going to show you what I did. Sorry. Let me see here. Yeah, okay. So during the New York session, I marked this level here, right? This was at the time, this was an OHLC because it was with the 1 and the 5 o'clock. I'm talking about this little gap right here, right? This is basically what I did. And then I went to the 1-hour, right? And then I noticed, okay, that lines up with this level here. That 4-hour level lines up with this one. There's the same exact level, right? I go to the 30-minute, okay, nothing, right? Then I go to the 15, and then what do I see is this breakout level here, right? So I just simply use this level, or you can use this level. I mean, they're so close together, but it doesn't really matter. So this is basically the level to sell from, and that was the level that's how I found it. So, and plus you have structure, right? Lower high, lower low, lower high, oops, lower low. So I was expecting price to come here in order to continue to go down, right? Just basically, that's all. Obviously you can clearly see that, it's very clear. And that's what ended up happening. So that's how I found the level. So that's basically all I did, right? Because originally I would have used this level here to sell from, right? But if I go to the 4 hour, it didn't really overlap with anything, so I just took this one, which at the time was this OHLC, and it was already an OHLC on the 1 hour here, right? And then 30, same, 15, and that's how I found the area to sell from, because price is bearish on the 4 hour and the 1 hour, and I just need to find a place to sell, right? Which is the setup. So for me, it was this drop-based drop right here. That was the sell. Hope that makes sense. So that was Friday. So now let's go to NAS, starting on the 4 hour. So let me just delete this. I'm always back testing the previous week. So just for the sake of these videos, you know, I'm helping to show you what I saw so that you guys can see too, and hopefully this makes trading a little bit more simple and easy for you. Because it's just about training your eyes to notice these things and catch these things, right? So let's start on Monday. NAS, you got to trade NAS a little bit differently. So with NAS, you're more trading the current leg. So you're more trading the current leg. You're not necessarily trading the structure. You can do that if that makes it easier. And if you get confused on the 4 hour, just follow the 1 hour direction, if that makes it easier for you. So I'll show you. So because if you take a look what I'm saying, price is bearish on the 4 hour, right? This is the lower high, this is the lower low, right? This was Monday. So when I get to the 1 hour time frame, right? This is the 1 hour time frame, right? You notice that price has already shifted bullish on the 1 hour because this was the last lower high, right? That it broke. So I'm looking for buys coming into the New York session, right? So I'm looking for buys in this area. Now, first level I see is here. This is what I would personally buy from, but price tapped that outside of session time. So obviously I can't do that. I just have to follow the CMP, right? So that's when you drop down time frames. So I go down to 30. Take a look to see if anything's there. So I noticed this level here on the 30, right? So then I go to the 15. And then this is when I notice this level here, right? So because this level is so close to the apex, you can just put it on the apex. So you have 1 and 2, right? Now, if you're asking me, how do you know which one to enter from? You won't always know, but you would like to go up to the time frames and see if there's any overlap. So I'll just show you. So both of them have an overlap. You can see that. It's the exact same level, right? Now I go to the 1 hour just to see. Oops. And they both have overlaps, right? So you see that the overlaps are the same, pretty much, right? So I'll just show you. Now how would you know which one to choose? You wouldn't know, and this is what I talk about splitting positions, right? So if my risk is, you guys have your own risk parameters that you use, right? So if you're risking 0.25%, right? Or let me just make it simpler for you. If your total risk is 0.5%, right, per trade, then for this one you would risk 0.25, and this one you would risk 0.25, right? So you have 1 and 2. So you split your risk, basically, because you don't know if price is going to tap this level or it's going to tap this level. So if your total risk is 0.50%, then you're going to split it in half, right? You're going to split it in half. So you put 0.25% on this level here, and then 0.25% on this level here, right? So that's how you can do it. So you don't really need to figure it out. So you put one position here, one position here, but as I mentioned, use the apex. When it's this close together, you can just use the apex, right? And then that's where price pretty much tapped, and then it came back down again, but still, yeah. This is hindsight, but when it's in this situation right here, you don't know. Just take both levels. So I hope that makes sense. Spending a little bit of time on there, because I know some people may get confused because they see multiple setups and multiple levels, and they don't know which one to take. So the best thing to do is just split your position. That's all. That's what I do. So now we go to Tuesday. Now Tuesday, I already saw price made a, oh sorry guys, price made a higher low on the 4-hour. Prior to New York session, price put in a higher low, so price is bullish, right? Same thing, price put in a higher low on the 1-hour. Came back to this level that I was expecting price to get to, but just outside of session. So you can see price came here and then went up, right? So there was no setup for myself on Tuesday, so it was just nothing to do. So I just missed Tuesday, it's fine. Now we go to Wednesday. Now Wednesday, this is another thing I want to show you. So you can see this is the higher high, right? This is the higher low. Now you may be thinking price is bullish, and you're absolutely right, it is bullish. But this is the current leg, which is in a pullback. So you got to go to the 1-hour time frame. Just going to show you what I did. So prior to the New York session, I noticed that price put in a higher high, right? And I noticed this was, for me, this was the last higher low. So I trade at 9 o'clock. So once the 8 o'clock candle closed, I saw that this level had shifted bearish, right? So price was bullish, and then it became bearish, right? So now this becomes my level to sell from, meaning this level right here, right? So I'm just going to show you. So that's the level to enter from. I'm just going to show you. You go to the 30 minute, go to the 15. You can pretty much see it making perfect sense, right? Because it's break and retest, right? Breakout, pull back, entry, and then go down. But if you're unsure, you can wait for another setup, which is usually on the lower time frames. But this one, I don't think it had one. Yeah, this one did not have one. It just kind of basically, after tapping, it moved sideways and then dropped. And then I think the only other entry was outside of session, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, well, price never even got to that level, so yeah. But basically, that's what ended up happening on Wednesday. Yeah. So price was bullish, and then it flipped bearish, and then you basically just take a sell here. How do you know that this level is going to hold? You don't know. That's why you need to take the risk, right? Take the chance. You got to think logically, right? So you don't know. That's the whole point. Like, I don't know personally if that's going to be it. I'm just taking a guess, right? But to me, it makes the most sense, you know. Yeah. So that's basically it. So just take a chance, and then that's it. So let's go to that was when was that? Sorry, that was Wednesday. Now let's go to Thursday. So Thursday, price is bearish, right? I noticed this lower high, lower low. Oops. So I was looking for sells, right? And then price is bearish on the 1 hour as well, as you can see. So I'm looking for sells. Come to the New York session. I see a breakout level here. This would be the first level I would want to sell from. So I drop down time frames just to see if there's anything else. I notice it's the same level as this, right? So this would be my first area to sell from. Drop down to the 15. Just want to see if there's anything else. And then what I noticed is that, zoom out, I noticed that price had a QMR here. That's when I noticed this QMR. So this was the level I would sell from. However, this was outside of session time, but I'm just showing you. So this was at 11 o'clock. So yeah, I would have taken that sell, but it was outside of session time. If you were following direction and you were following flow, you could have taken this breakout here. Now, again, price has multiple setup, like multiple levels. Like you can see this here, right? You can see this here. It has multiple, right? So you want to take the one that's closest to price. So these ones here. Now, if I were to take this one here, it wouldn't make any sense because price likes to go to the deeper levels. So for me personally, I would take this level and I would take this level, and then price tapped it here, which was at what time? Let me see. This was at 9:20, yeah. So again, when you have multiple setups and multiple levels, you split your position, right? So, and you got to see if it makes sense too, right? Like you have a lower low, lower high, lower low, and then lower high here, and then price went down, right? And then let's see, yeah, that's pretty much it. Then obviously it reversed. Got a nice reversal here, QMR buy, right? But yeah, that's basically it. So now let's go to Friday. Take a look to see what happened on Friday. So Friday, obviously price had already put in a lower high again, right? This was the lower high. So I was expecting a push down. So I'm looking for sells basically, right? So I go to the 1 hour. What do I notice? I notice that there's a breakout level here, right? Same thing, different scenario, right? So you have the apex here, right? But you gotta use common sense and look at the points, like how far away it is from where current price is. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So you see current price is right here, where it closed, right? This closed, yeah, this was the 8:30 candle close, and this was the 9 o'clock. So I'm just showing you. So this was the 1 hour level here, which is the same level as the 30-minute, you can see, right? Now I go to the 15, and then you have this level here, right? Now, will I expect price to come all the way up here? It's possible, it can happen, but most likely it's not going to because of where price is at and how it's reacting. So now, if I only put my sell position at the M30 level, which is this one, I'm just going to mark that as red, right? You can see price never hit it. I would have totally missed that trade, but I'll tell you what to do in this scenario as well. So you set your positions to both levels. So again, as I mentioned, you do one position here, another position here. You let price determine which one to take because you don't know. You can't know, but you can guess. So let's just say that you set it to this one only, right? And you missed. What I would do is I would drop down a time frame, either the 5 or the 1 minute, and then I would wait for another setup. So as I saw, price missed it, got down. This was the last higher low, right? Because price is moving up, it's trending up, and then breaks all the structure over here, right? Just completely breaks all the structure. So now my new setup would be this level here. This is where I would be selling from, right? And then price obviously came back and went down. So that's how you could do that as well. If you missed that one, so just a recap. If you set this level here and you missed it, or if you split your position to this one, then you caught it. And then if you want to catch another setup, then you just basically wait for confirmation, wait for another setup, and you have another. This is one of the patterns I taught you, which is the breakout, right? I know I shared this in my channel. So this is one of the patterns that always repeat, right? And that's it. So I hope that makes sense. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. Otherwise, that is pretty much it. Thanks. Let's see how we